Okay, so we're recording. Hello, hi to anyone who's watching this. You're watching a game that was arranged through the Gauntlet, which is a community on the internet that gets together and plays tabletop role-playing games online. You can find all the things that the Gauntlet does at gauntlet-rpg.com, where you'll find all sorts of things related to indie tabletop role-playing. Specifically, there's blogs, there's forums, there's the zine that Gauntlet puts out called Codex, which usually contains, supplements to existing games, or more often than not these days, original games in itself. It's all really cool. Check out the Gauntlet's Patreon. There's also the podcast network, which there's like a lot of discussion on indie tabletop role-playing games, stuff like Powered by the Apocalypse, OSR games, all that kind of stuff. But there's also the Hangouts calendar, to which this game was nominally arranged. Since it was arranged there, we're still recording it for anyone who might be interested. For those who don't know, this game we're playing is a one-shot of Spire, The City Must Fall, or if you have to look at, for SEO reasons, Spire RPG. Not unwieldy at all. It's by Grant Howarth and Christopher Taylor. It is a game of ragged revolutionaries, desperate drow freedom fighters, a role-playing game of intrigue, subterfuge, and sedition. The players are playing the aforementioned drow freedom fighters, revolutionaries, trying to claw back their city, which is the strange, haunted, magical cornucopia of terror and wonder that is Spire, trying to claw it back from their Alfear overlords. Fun stuff. This is part of a series I've been doing, running a series of adventures from the Shadow Operations source book, which is a collection of one-shots. There'll be a link down below to check out all that stuff. And yeah, this is, I think, the fourth one-shot. If you want to check out the other stuff I've done, I've ran The Last Train by Nathan Blades. I've ran The Show Must Go On by Jason Pitt, and These Feral Saints by Pam Punzalan. The one we're running today is called How to Steal a Body by Pauline Chan. There'll be a link down below. Check out their work.
For anyone looking for pointers, be sure to watch very attentively.
Oh yeah. This is like gonna be a textbook case, how to steal a body, especially if you have as a pet a slavering carnivorous hyena, an incredibly...
I think you mean noble and proud.
Noble, proud, somewhat slavering. You gotta have your off moments every now and then, even for a noble and proud hyena. Man with many masks and a beautiful starlet. If you're those three, then this is the one shot for you. Okay, so we're gonna introduce characters kind of in media res, and introduce everyone in media res. But before we get to like the meat of the matter, what body you're stealing and how you're going to do it, I do want to talk about the safety tools that we're using for today, just to make sure we're all playing in a safe and comfortable environment. I've already asked yourselves to look at the lines and veils, and as first, for those who don't know, who are watching this, lines are things that like won't be crossed, just won't show up in the fiction at all. Veils are things that can happen in fiction, but we're not gonna concentrate on it. Like either it happens off screen, or it gets like a sentence or two, or we just kind of like move on from it. There's stuff that are also asked first, which are like they can be included in the fiction, but be sure to like note it for the table, saying like, hey, I'm gonna introduce X, and just want to make sure that everyone's cool. It's kind of important, especially for a game with like quite a serious topic matter as this. There's also the other safety tool that we're using. It's called Script Change, which if you look at the role for your party that we're using, it's basically a series of commands that kind of lets us move and modulate the fiction as best we can. Just make sure we're all playing on the same level. So I'll just go through the commands we have. They're based on television remote controls. The first is rewind. Basically, if you call for rewind, when you want to rewind, you back up to a specific point in a scene, and do the scene over again, avoiding whatever issue led to the rewind. It could be any issue. It could be a name, or it could be like just the general tone of a scene, or the premise, just the entire scene itself. And you don't have to explain what issue you have with it. Just say, I have an issue with this. I don't want to have to do this, or you'll go through this. And I might ask some questions on what specifically the issue we're trying to avoid is. But if it's used, it's used. We'll rewind, and people will should respect when we rewind. There's also pause, which is like, it's kind of part of it's like part of their open door policy, where basically you can call for a pause if you need a break, for a variety of reasons, whether there's an emergency you need to take care of, or you're more tired than you thought and you want to just step back, or if you need a bio break, if you need to use the toilet or whatnot. Or even for like other stuff, like maybe we're in an intense scene, you're just like, hey, we need to pause and just let everyone breathe. Or, hey, if you're seeking clarity or a discussion about the game or content, like, how did we end up on this giant flying gas bug grappling with a cargo that contains, 5 beehives that are created, this hive mind of these diseased bee cultures. How did we end up there? You can call for a pause and just ask, and then we'll try to clarify where everyone is. And the other command is fast forward. It's kind of part of when we talk about fails. When you fast forward, you fade to black, and advance time is needed to avoid content or elements of play. And it could be just could be anything. It's we already know what's going to happen. We don't need to linger on this. We will just fast forward and we will move on. Okay, so I'm going to read out the mission parameters, and then just the intro, and see how everyone's ended up where we are. So you, as in this particular cell of the Ministry of our Hidden Mistress, which is the name of the main revolutionary group, the main drow revolutionary group that everyone's a part of. You were supposed to steal the body of Dardanelle Vane from a Necropolis morgue and deliver it to a Charnel-like temple in New Heaven. But when you found Vane's body, a mortician was already attending to it. Now that mortician is dead too, the carrion birds and ghosts are raising a ruckus, and you still have to escape with a corpse that's starting to decay. Complete the mission however you can while dealing with guards, ghosts, whatever else come your way. So it's a simple enough premise. You got a corpse, you gotta bring it to a temple, and it's gonna be a fine time. It's gonna be good, whatever come my way. So I think when we open up, we're gonna open up in the Necropolis itself, in this morgue where Vane's body has been brought, and I'm imagining this Necropolis antechamber, this crypt that you're in. It's kind of fairly massive. It's half the size of a hangar, and it's got this curved ceiling. It's lit by these wall enchantments that kind of just pierce to the wall. And there's a row of slabs kind of inside this room, and there's only one body inside this entire morgue, which is the body you've come to steal, Dardanelle Vane. He is perfumed. He's dressed in finery. He's got this ridiculous poncho on, and it's got this kind of cumbersome mask that is clearly it's 100 crystals all pieced together to form this mask. And it's got this goofy kind of smiling face that say, "Hey, I'm a lovely guy. I'm a lovely guy." There is so I think I'm gonna go right to left on the character keeper to introduce kind of characters, and I'm gonna ask you all each a question of how you ended up in this scenario. So I'm gonna start with our idol. So Elra, when we see you, what do we see of you inside this like room? And could you give us like an introduction of who you are?
Alira is very beautiful. She wears probably, for this mission, I think she toned down her normal style of clothes a little bit. Maybe it's like a cat suit or something. And she wears a porcelain mask with like silver inlaid tears. And I think at the moment she looks fabulous as ever. Stands probably near the door that leads out of this room, and she listens for anyone approaching.
Yeah, I think the only sound you hear at the moment, before like things really kick off, is kind of like in the distance, somewhere in the rafters. You hear this soft cawing of a vulture, in the rafters of this big ceiling. I want to ask you, Elira, how did the three of you get access to this morgue?
I would assume that Alira managed to impersonate the ideal partner of one of the guards, and she met the person and was able to make an imprint or something of the keys, and then forge the keys.
Hell yeah. That sounds incredibly plausible for your skill set. So unlike other Spire one-shots, you're all in one room. So the camera, who usually has trouble trying to figure out where everyone is, because usually you're in a crowd or out in the open. This time, no, you're all in just one room. So we go from this beautiful idol to our masked. So Donna, why don't you introduce Grimald and what his demeanor is at the moment?
Yeah, so Grimald is a mask. He used to be a duelist for a noble Elfir. And I think he is adept at being in places where everyone assumes he has the right to be, or ignoring him because he appears to be just a lowly servant. So I'm sure he was part of the plan. That was part of the plan to get us all in here. He is, I think, a pretty stoic individual. He is used to taking his knocks, physical or emotional, given his durance. And yeah, I think he's dressed in something a little bit finer than usual. He's brought his good clothes on this escapade. So maybe a nice velvet ruby red jacket with some inlaid silver.
I forgot I could just I could just share the screen for anyone who's watching this. I forgot to do that. Actually, I don't want to do that. I have too many tabs. It's embarrassing. So yeah, I guess a part of that I want to ask Grimald. How did you so Elira got the way in? How did you how did the group get from entering to the room where you needed to be?
Horst, when you said Elira got the keys, was that into this specific section or in the front door?
I was assuming to the building itself.
Okay. So maybe once we're in the building, we needed some way of getting past any kind of inspection. So I think Grimald had prepared some paperwork, the correct forms with the correct stamps, and just the right kind of wax seal in them, so that when we're moving around, maybe until we get to this section or this room, we appear to be legit.
Yeah, well, there is one thing that kind of will make you seem not legit. There was a mortician here. They're dead now. So I guess we'll move to the third member of our cell. Moving from this dapper red velveted drow to our carrion priest. So Stephen, what do we see of your character?
Oh, well, yes, I'm simply taking measurements of the body. You need to make certain, like, the average, it's fairly easy to calculate the average weight of bodies, and from once you take the proper measurements, and if we really need to perhaps dividing him up into smaller bits so that we can package him up more nicely. But I am food, honorable servant to Lord to the noble Lord Rot, nobleman of the hyena packs that roam Spire. My left, I am a rather skinny, tall drow. My left ear looks like it's been gnawed upon, as if some hyena was attempting to eat it. But Lord Rod and I have gotten past that. He, after all, was simply acting in his nature as a noble carnivore, and I was acting in my nature as food. But oh yes, as to background and class and all that, I spent some time traveling around the various death cults of the city during my youth before determining that they were all lies and we have no soul. All that we are fated to be is to be devoured by the one species I know for certain has souls, hyenas.
Sure. I'm sure that's up for debate, but
and I'm fairly certain. If you look at all of the facts, and I have in fact gone into this with most people who doubt me on this, my lengthy thesis on the subject. But I am a carrion priest. I do worship Charnel, the laughing god, who is the god who has gifted us with cannibalism.
Well, everyone has their beliefs. Spire welcomes all.
I mean, the Spire has many wrong beliefs, but mine, of course, is the correct one.
Well, considering you are here to deliver this corpse to another priest in your one of your brethren, I'm sure it's quite flattering for the ministry to turn to them. I guess the question I have for you then, Food, is how did this mortician die?
Well, I stabbed him, of course.
Of course.
Oh, but do you mean in the wider sense of why is mortality a thing?
Probably not. I'm sure he would have been.
I mean, he came in. I was taking measurements. I tried to inform him that I was in fact taking custody of the body. He took issue with that. Talked some nonsense about eternal rest, and so we eventually turned into an argument that ended with him being stabbed in the face.
Wow. Okay. Cool. How's everyone else feeling about this? I'm sure it's all okay. I'm sure the mortician was being a real prick.
I mean, Alira will have said upon witnessing the stabbing of the poor guy, I thought we were here to be professional.
But he's a mortician. It's like.
He was asking for it. Is that what you're saying, Food?
Perhaps.
I don't pity him or anything. It's just the quieter we work, the better.
Look, I mean, if you really want to talk with him, we can, and I am going to summon up a ghost that has useful information to the situation as hand, as I can do once a session.
Oh, yeah, okay, yeah, you can totally just do that. Amazing. Okay. All right, cool. Let me cross off an NPC from the list. I forgot, yeah, Karen Priest gonna do that. All right, once per session, you find a ghost and talk about the present situation. Well, funny thing, as you were talking, the temperature in this room has been gradually getting lower and lower, and you, as you're kind of like examining this body, you felt like some of the instruments, some of the. Oh, let me double check. Yes, some of the papers have been kind of like fluttering and whatnot, and um, I think like how do you see this ghost actually? That's the food. How do you like activate this ghost speaker ability?
Well, let me just kind of take a look at that again. Power. Well, I think that I have I wear the grim pallor, the grim laughing face of death. Place it on myself. Draw forth whatever remains of their psyche into the world, because after all I'm summoning them from, it's a privilege. I'm summoning them forth from the dark emptiness that is death for all creatures that are not hyenas.
That's true. Well, the nice thing about this ghost is that, like, well, not really nice, because they were alive a few minutes ago. So you.
Oh, wonderful!
So
the ones that are freshly killed are always much easier to interact with.
Yeah. No, he's not happy. I should put out his name. His name is Marrow, because of course it is.
Greetings, friend. I believe we hadn't made each other's acquaintance before the unfortunate misunderstanding.
He does not look happy. In fact, I think he tries to like speak, but like, you kind of stabbed him near the mouth. He's just, I'm. You killed me. You killed you. What? Why?
Yes, I believe I already know that. If we could move on past that, though.
Why did you kill me?
I mean, you were rather rude. You called his honorable liege, Lord Rot, that mangy hyena.
I think he looks. The thing is, like, with the way this power works, only food can really see this, so it just looks like food's talking to thin air. But y'all know what ghosts are. It's part of the setting. I think Marrow tries to look at the other, just like, but he was quite mangy, and we do not allow Charnelite hyenas into this establishment. This is for our most refined and dignified clients. They are meant to be embalmed and taken back to their homeland, not to be fed through the guts and through the intestines of some mutt.
Well, then I am simply doing them a much greater service than any of you have.
The mutt is not what matters. He, points to the corpse, is what matters.
Why does he matter exactly?
He is meant to be purified. He is meant to be. His body is meant to be cleansed. I've been told about this very, very carefully, that his lordship Dardanir Vane, he is meant to enter the afterlife pure of mind, body, and soul. We cannot speak for his mind and his soul, so all we have is his body.
Sorry, you just said afterlife. Continue, though.
Oh. I'm actually glad that this is the kind of character who can speak to this ghost, because otherwise he probably would have just told you everything. But you're gonna need. But I think he's just gonna see why I have no need. Oh, why I would assist you vagabonds. What even do you have planned for this?
Because if you do not help, then I will simply allow my friend here to devour whatever remnants of your soul I'm talking to.
Okay. All right. I think this is a roll. You stabbed him in the face. He's not really the most. I think while this is happening, the other two, you can feel the temperature fluctuate, but it's getting like colder and colder because this ghost is here.
I do have compel in religion, so
yeah.
And I do have a knack in death cults.
Yes. There's a difficulty of 1 though, because you're being an arse to him.
That's fair.
Okay.
So, I mean, how could I not be? He mentioned the afterlife. How could I not?
Yeah, that's true. Just to like go to the roll so that you'd have you know what it means. Basically, we're making a dice pool of d10s. You can start with 1 for luck. Then you start if you have the relevant skill, and then another one if you have the relevant domain, and then a 4th one if you're either getting an assist or you have a knack that will add mastery to the roll. Difficulty takes away a die. The highest difficulty you can get is 2. So there's 1 here. So you're gonna roll with 3d10 food.
Okie dokie.
Of course,
should we clear all the dice right out here right now?
Yeah, we probably
should. It's
should.
kind of crowded.
Yeah, hold on. Let me get rid of Paul and Dan's dice. Jesus, a lot of them in Callan's, sure. Oh, that did not get rid of all of them. Okay. Oh, wait, no. Oh, it's just taking its time. Okay. All right, give them a moment. Wow. All this goes away.
Okay.
Yeah, this should be more clear now.
And that is an 8 for me.
Okay, cool. 8 is a success, just a straight up success. Basically, you want to roll 6 above. That's 6 to 7 is success at cost, which usually involves stress. 8 to 9 is straight up success, and a 10 is a crit. 5 below is just failure, but a 1 is a critical failure, which is double stress. We'll get to stress if you get hit by stress, but I've always said whenever I run Spire or apparently any system that involves a dice pool, everyone just rolls 8 above, so everyone just wins. It's fine. So yeah, I think he suddenly Marrow takes up this, like, looks at the hyena and just kind of like, have you had much contact with this corpse, with our dear Lord Vane?
Well, not prior to being a corpse.
Whatever he was involved with in his mortal life, it is immaterial compared to what's happening to his body now. Have you had contact with his body?
I mean, I guess I was taking some measurements of it.
So I think like his eyes kind of like widen, and I think at this exact moment, nothing bad's gonna happen because you're rolling 8, but at this exact moment, you hear voices in the back of your head, just like this murmuring.
Oh, those are new ones.
That are not Grimalt and Illyra. And yeah, these are new ones from whatever you heard before. It is an insistent kind of chanting. Actually, no, it's not. Actually, let me redact that. It's not chanting. It is a cacophony of voices kind of mixing in and out of each other. And he says, there is a reason that Lord Vane's body needs purification. I would suggest that you tell your colleagues to have as little contact with this corpse, if possible. Otherwise, you will be infected.
Oh, well, Thank you for that information, sir. May you return to whatever cold, dark, terrible place I summoned you from. Have a good day.
And he just goes. I think I should kind of cut it off. Okay, so do you tell your two friends?
Oh yes, apparently this corpse is infected with something that is causing an ongoing cacophony at the back of my head. It's probably nothing, but I should avoid having too much direct contact with it. Afterlife.
So, I guess because I'm not carrying this thing, how will it be transported to its resting place? And she looks at
wrap it up, right?
Yes, or perhaps a stretcher of some sort.
Yeah. I would say like as you're like talking, there's some actual corporeal voices. There's some murmuring outside. I think where you are, Illyria, you can hear.
Are those? Is everyone else hearing those, or is that still just the cacophony?
No, I do hear them.
Okay.
And she makes the international shush gesture.
I think you hear like this red. I think you hear this very quick, nervous voice just going, look, we have one of our senior morticians inside. He's preparing the body. You don't need to go in there right now. It's fine. There's a funeral procession. You can just wait at the place where they're being dropped off. Everything's fine. And you hear this, and in response, there's like other gruff voice just going, I need to see Vane.
So does the mortician have a mask?
Yeah.
I'm assuming as an elfer it would be.
Well, it depends, because like morticians, they're like their own cult. The thing with like masks, like all outfier wear them, but like drow, you can choose to wear or not wear a mask. If you want to say like morticians wear a mask, I'm perfectly fine going with that. The thing with this setting is like, it's broad but kind of like shallow, so you don't have to we can invent details if you want. If you want to say morticians wear masks, perfectly fine with that.
If there is a professional garb, perhaps I could don it right now and we might see off this person at the door.
Yeah, they wear some stark ceremonial black and white robes. Turn the light here, reading a book like that. And a variety of words that I don't really get. What's a tippet? What's a chasuble? I have no idea. But we can say absolutely wear a mask. So what's your plan?
So I guess I want to get these people to leave so that we can leave without arousing too much suspicion. I
will say that like if you, the way kind of like at rolls work here is like you can almost always like try anything, and rolls only happen if like there's an uncertainty. So if you want to like say you want to do that, we'll just say we'll do it. We'll try to do it, and we'll see if you have the skills or domains.
Yeah. So I guess once I have donned the seeming of our mortician, I open the door.
Did you take it off Marrow's corpse?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, unless there's another one hanging around,
You feel the temperature around you kind of chill a bit, as if he's just like, "Oh, come on," but he can't really do anything. He's a ghost.
Yeah. I guess I'm muttering that he really shouldn't have insulted his lordship.
Yeah. So
whatever about his philosophical leanings, which are bizarre, calling his lordship a mangy mutt is really beyond the pale. Yeah. So yes, I poke my head through the crack to see who's out there, and do you mind? We are undertaking quite a significant ritual here.
You see two people. One of them is like this kind of like smallish, kind of like they're both drow. I'll say. One of them is kind of like a smallish, kind of like rather hapless looking young one. She's got her hair like in a braided ponytail. She's wearing the same robes you are wearing. And she looks nervous. And she's talking to like this rather tall, gruff looking drow, who is like who's got like the armor on, like rather battered, bruised looking armor. Her hair is like also like in a sort of short but scruffy kind of ponytail. There's like a scar across like her cheek, and she's got this like great sword strapped to her back. And the mortician one kind of looks at you and says, I was just trying to explain that we are preparing his lordship as best we can, but she's insistent. And the gruff drow kind of looks at you and says, I was his lordship's bodyguard, and I had thought that I would like to pay some private respects.
I mean, you realize bodyguard is not meant literally. You were supposed to take care of him when he was alive. So go outside, and the funeral procession, as my colleague has just said, will be later. There is no private viewing, not until after the ritual.
Okay, cool. That's a roll. She looks kind of really insistent. Okay, so we start with 1d10 for luck. Do you have a relevant skill for this?
Deceive, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you have a
I don't know what exactly the domain of order is, but I'm trying to get her to follow the rules. I don't know if that is what that means.
Domain is usually like kind of like it's a domain usually means, hold on, what's the definition? Let me double check. Like I always kind of like I have a definition in my mind, but domain is basically kind of like where you are and how you fit into this. Order is like
law and government.
Yeah, like the governing of Spire. Like this mortician place, religion would be its domain.
Okay, cool.
So
I don't. So let me read this one out. I don't think maybe it's exactly what I'm trying to do, but maybe I'm reading it wrong. The citizen's mask. When you wear your citizen's mask, you roll with mastery when you're attempting to pass yourself off as someone unimportant or beneath the attention of your target. I don't think that's relevant.
Yeah.
So I don't think I have anything else.
Okay. Yeah, we'll see if we can bring these things to bear in a moment. But yeah, I think that's 2d10. There's no difficulty in here. You're wearing you're wearing Marrow's clothing. Okay, sure.
Okay, so 2d10.
That's a 9.
3 and a 9.
Yeah, you take the highest, and yeah, here we go. Here's the everyone just gets roll successes. It's all good.
It makes your life very easy when you don't have to think of complications, right?
Yeah, you just do it. It's amazing.
It just makes him sad. That's the thing.
It's fine. I play this up more than I would. I think like she just kind of looks at the two of you, the two mortician, the one mortician and the other mortician, and just kind of like sighs and just says, "Will the funeral procession be soon?"
Well, it will be later than it should have been because of someone's interruption. So I hope you're happy with yourself.
Far from it. And she kind of like will turn to like leave, and the other mortician was kind of like, she has been most insistent. breaking in. She says her name is Jazra. She really wanted to see Lord Vane. I thank you so much. And I think she kind of looks at you, and I want to say like because you're wearing the mask, and you roll a 9, the deception will carry through. And she's kind of like, and also she looks like a young one who's probably new to this place, so she's not going to question. And she says, "Sir, do you need help with the ritual? I know we're all busy trying to prepare for this funeral procession and all, but is there anything we would require?"
How about you continue with your assigned duties and try to make sure no one else sneaks in here, because if I am interrupted again, there will be hell to pay.
Okay. Yes, sir. I'll go. I'll just go then. I've got a lot to do. She says as she's walking away. She's like, I've got a lot to do. There's places to plug up. There's sir. The guard captain is on their way to confirm the funeral procession route. She already knows the procession, but she's probably going to want to talk to you.
We'll have her wait in my office, and I will be there shortly.
Okay. I'll leave you to your duty. She'll panic around the corner.
Yeah, so I guess I close the door, and do you all hear that? We have less time than we probably should. The guard captain is on their way here to discuss matters. So
Alira points to the two of you. So let's grab the body and get out of here. And she moves to the door and looks outside into the hall to see if it's clear.
Yeah, it's pretty clear.
So is there some kind of a gurney or a trolley that we could put the corpse on?
You're in a morgue. You got a variety of options. There is a gurney, a stretcher, a gurney and a stretcher, a bunch of them. So there's like a lot of. I mean, if you say that and it could be in a morgue, even in the fantasy punk morgue, like in Spire, it's definitely going to be there.
Well, how about we put the corpse on a stretcher and then put the stretcher on the gurney, because I'm predicting stairs, and then we maybe cover it with a tarpaulin or something.
I think we'll say that you can totally do that. The tricky part is one of you has a hyena, but you already got in through here. We've been here for an hour, so I think what we'll do is we're gonna leave these characters as they set up this gurney, stretcher, tarpaulin sandwich, and we'll probably cut back when they're kind of about to leave, exit the morgue. So we're here for hours. Take a break. Let's come back at 45 past, not 45 That'd be, what would that even mean? 45 past the hour. Okay. Cool. I'll be right back. Okay, so it sounds like Alira, you're taking point. We'll just say you have the gurney and the stretcher and the corpse wrapped up in a tarpaulin. Alira, it sounds like you're kind of taking point as y'all kind of exit out of the morgue.
I think Alira is helping via leading us.
Mm-hmm.
I think is the impression I got.
Definitely, I'm mentally helping.
Yeah, you're you really should be wrapping that tighter.
Yeah.
That does look heavy.
Yes, a little bit higher maybe is better for the back. But in any case, is there some kind of what's it called? A mechanic in Blades in the Dark, where you say that you have something prepared? Do we know about another entrance or exit from that building? Flashback mechanic.
No, I don't. No, there's not. I don't think there's a thing like that. But we can just say.
No, I mean, it was just an idea. If there's just this one exit to the building, then we do have to probably either sneak past the guards or create some kind of distraction.
Okay.
I mean, maybe just a party starts up.
Yeah, that is what I... that is a very weird place for a party.
I mean, you see like someone carting out a dead body, and you're just like, oh, poor Bernard. We must hold awake this instant.
So, if there's no flashback, then she would indeed take point and approach the entrance to the building to look out for people who she would have to distract.
Yeah, I think. So let me see for what this building's like. This morgue is like, it's a 3-story morgue carved into like the tunnel wall of the necropolis. There's candlelight, stone arches, preparation chambers. I think we'll cut to you all at the entrance hall, and there's like the thing with the necropolis, like it's kind of like really silent and kind of like deathly. It's all respectful and clean. So this entrance hall, there's like. But the thing is, like, they're preparing for a funeral procession, so there is like kind of like it's more populated than you would like. More like 6 or 7 people. Some of them are like talking to each other. Some of them are like gesturing about rituals and whatnot. There are some guards that kind of like filtered in. I'll say like there's no one here that looks like a guard captain or anything. You do spot this battle-scarred drow who's kind of like hovering around the entrance. Grimalt's friend there, Jazra. She's still there. So
is there some kind of... is there a way to assess what is the biggest threat here? In the sense that... like who would have the authority to stop us?
That is usually like an that is kind of like still a roll. There is usually like investigate is usually kind of like the skill for that, but you can still roll even without like the skill. It just means you're gonna have less dice. So yeah, you can totally do that if you want.
Do that. So investigate. I don't think occult probably doesn't apply here. Eyesight doesn't apply.
So like 1d10.
It's 1d10. Let's give it a go.
Yeah, because there's a bit of a risk here.
Definitely.
Yeah. The even with Grimalt's mortician clothing, you're a weird bunch.
So I rolled a 6.
Hey, that's still success, but there is going to be a cost. The cost is more often than not stress. Actually, it usually always is stress. Maybe some complication and some stress will happen, and then maybe it'll build up. So, okay. So I think you will look around, and yeah, there is... Of the morticians that are hanging around, they don't seem to look like... they seem to be wearing the same dress that Grimald is wearing, so... I think you can tell that like they have about as much authority as he is pretending to have. So of the morticians, there's no one here who can like just stop you. The main person who's kind of like looking at is Jazra, who is like hovering around the entrance of the morgue. Like basically, if any mortician comes to like accost you or anything, you can assume that like everything's going to be fine, as long as Grimald is still pretending to be a mortician.
So let's say I need to check my special thing.
Before you do that, I'm going to inflict some stress on you because that was you rolled a 6.
Nice.
So I think because you might have Grimald, but you're an incredibly beautiful idol next to a Carrion priest with a gurney and a stretcher, with a gurney that has a stretcher on it with a body-shaped tarpaulin, a body wrapped in a tarpaulin. Roll me a d6, and I'm going to flick this on your shadow stress.
See, this is a 2.
Nice. Sadly, you have no shadow resistance. So the way this works is like whenever there's a success at cost, you gotta get hit by stress in one of your resistances, and then I'll roll a d10 myself. If I roll underneath like your level of stress in that resistance, there's a more harsher rule where it's the total number of resistance you have, but I usually just keep it the resistances. It's easier to calculate. If I roll under the number of stress you have in your resistance, you get inflicted what's called a fallout, which is a complication or a condition. More often than not, it's a condition. There are ways to get rid of stress. You have your stress refresh mechanics, or if you do something in the fiction, like smoking or going to a doctor or whatnot. The other ways to get hit by a fallout. You only have 2 stress, so it should be fine. There we go. Roll a 5. But that means that stress accumulates. I think just to like signify what that looks like, getting that 2 stress, I did mention there were like guards. There's at least 2 guards here in the Necropolis. They kind of like, they're looking expectantly towards like the stairs to the higher levels of this morgue, as if they're waiting for someone, as if like, oh, our boss should be here, that sort of thing.
Is it conceivable that I had the time to concoct my glamour?
Yeah. Yeah, I'll let you have it because these are cool. Who are you glamoring?
I'm glamoring Jezra, the bodyguard.
Okay. So let me read this out. Black magic and poise let you become whoever they want you to be. Once per situation, you choose an NPC. Using a cocktail of charm, practical poise, and semi-lethal black magic, you change your appearance to represent their ideal partner. What does this look like? Because it says here that like you don't get to determine what you look like. You can end the spell by scrubbing off whatever makeup you've applied, that sort of thing. But yeah, what does this look like when you like put on your glamour?
I think it was, I was obviously overhearing the discussion that Grimald had with Jezra. And I was listening to the tone. Is Jezra male, female? She, I think.
She, yeah.
Yeah, the way she was speaking, and that gets me into the mindset of envisioning what her ideal partner would look like. And then I'd probably have like a fetish or charm, something with sticks and bones and feathers that are pulled out. And then you can see the face and the figure like changing and morphing.
Yeah, I think since this is targeted on NPC, like Grimald and food, like won't notice any big differences. But like, I think Illyra, and I don't know how you'll notice this because obviously you can't see yourself at the moment. But I think what the camera will see as you kind of like striding to Jezra is you're kind of turning into like someone who's like just a bit shorter than them. I think it's someone who's like shorter than them and kind of like has, and you can feel like your voice kind of like has take on this like more gruffer kind of like sense. It was mostly appearance. I think you kind of look like shorter, but like you look tough. You look like lean, like an MMA fighter, basically. And hair is like a buzz cut as well. And you smell like you look like you've been in a fight. Not unlike Jezra, who's like a little bit taller than you at this point. But so do you like approach her?
Yeah, I think when I pass her, I accidentally, I'm making quotation marks that nobody can see, accidentally bump into her. But in a like completely unapologetic way.
I think like she's just like startled, like she didn't see you like coming. She's like, huh. Hello.
Oh, excuse me, and I look her up and down. And I said, are you waiting for someone?
I think she kind of like blinks a bit slowly. It's like she's just barely processing you, and she says, "Yes, I'm waiting for a funeral procession."
Oh, I just overheard a discussion. This will take like an hour. Why don't we? I have to wait as well. Do you know some kind of cafe or something in the neighborhood? We could wait together.
She kind of like looks around. I think this is where you make a roll.
Deceive or
Yes.
what else is there?
Yeah,
Yes.
it's deceive. Nice that these you all have at least one of the two social checks.
Let's see. Does anything else apply? I don't think so.
So I think because of this like glamour, you kind of she would have a difficulty of 1 if you were just coming as yourself, but that knocks it down away the difficulty. So you have 2d10.
Cool. Let's do this. This is a 6 again.
Okay, all right, yeah, no, 6 is still a success. I think they kind of like look at you. It's kind of like, again blinking, and then I think they say, "Yes, there's a nice place at the I think it's the Choke. It's over there." And I think like she will like go with you, but I think she will like kind of grab your arm and will kind of like take you insistently. The complication is just like she's taking you away from the group for the moment.
Yeah.
Roll me a d6 for more stress.
Nice. That is a 4.
Oh gosh. All right, I think this is still to your shadow. 1, 2, 3, 4. So you have 9 stress shadow. Ooh, we actually could see a fallout. The weird thing with these one shots, you barely see these fallouts because y'all roll ridiculously. So I'm gonna roll this. Here we go. We rolled an 8. So let's show you how fallouts work. Fallout. Characters.
My favorite Fallout is Fallout 3. Just saying.
Oh yeah. Well, I wish I had an opinion about this. Okay. So the severity of the fallout is determined to double check. Yes, by the number of stress you have. 8 is moderate fallout, and this is to your shadow. So, oh wow, these are harsh.
Yeah, like that's full on major fallout, isn't it?
Yeah, what is up with this? I know which one. Okay, so I think who? Okay, all right, here it is. I think as Jazra is dragging away, you feel like quite a number of eyes kind of like on you. Like it's not just like, and when she drags you out to like the Necropolis, which I should describe as like, it's this tall vertical kind of like tunnel made up of like a dozen staircases and a lot of like buildings carved into the walls. And as she kind of like drags you away, you can feel like you're being watched basically. That like someone has your tail basically. So I'm going to put that in your stress and fallout. You're being watched. You specifically, Elira. But don't worry, getting hit by mortar fallout removes 5 stress. 5, which is good. So is that okay with you? We'll cut away from you for the moment.
Super cool. Yeah.
Hell yeah. All right. So the rest of you, Lyra has been dragged away by Jazra, but the way is open. I think we'll just kind of like have you come out of the morgue. The guards are like, they're waiting for their boss.
We should scurry on. Take him to his final rest in the afterlife. And I give like a big wink to Grimald.
But we're not even pretending this is a body, right? This
we're
is just
not?
garbage.
Okay. Because it's... Okay.
The dump is its
Never
own
mind that.
afterlife.
Yeah.
Yeah. The true afterlife, the midden pit.
So as I mentioned, you are in the Necropolis stairwell. It's a vertical tunnel. Its main thoroughfare is like this tangle of staircases that spiral up from the gardens up to where you need to go, which is New Heaven. Aside from the street market where Jazra is dragging Illyra towards, and the funeral processions, of which there are many, the stairwell is empty more often than not because it's the Necropolis. It's usually kind of dead in terms of feeling, so it's kind of like silent and empty when you're gonna come out. There's only like a couple things like near the entrance to this morgue, which is like some very handy things. There's this rather gaudy Alfir palanquin. If you look up, it's not in front of your morgue, but if you look up in the stairwell, there's like, it's outside fancier mortician's office. There is a nearby kebab cart with a sign that says back in 15 minutes, wide enough for a body, I suppose. Or you can just carry this as it is. You see like there are some people near Choke working on a rope ladder. There's like a bunch of staircases leading up. For the moment, you only see that Illyra is being dragged towards like Choke, which is kind of like a staircase full of like markets or shops or whatnot. But yeah, Food and Grimald, what do you do?
Oh, well, someone has quite usefully left a kebab cart out here, and I'll proceed over to it and just take whatever meat is inside and like just toss it over to Lord Rot.
Lord Rot's happy for the meat. I
think we can stuff our garbage, and I give a wink to Grimald, into here.
Sounds disastrously convenient. Yeah. Delicious irony. This poor kebab that we're carrying.
Okay. All right. I think. Well, I think you're stealing a kebab cart. There has to be a roll here to see if you get away with it as you kind of push the kebab cart up the staircase. Who wants to make the roll?
I mean, I think you're the one with the actual deceive. I could maybe as well, because I am low society. So I feel like I have low society. So I feel like that would probably, if I was to disguise myself as a kebab cart salesman. Or kebab salesman, not someone who sells kebab carts.
Oh, well, that's an interesting line of business, kebab cart salesman. I mean, it's a thriving industry.
Well, I was gonna say like it's either deceive or like
actually,
sneak.
you know what? You have that thing that gives you mastery for disguising yourself as someone people don't notice.
Yeah, the citizen's mask.
Yeah, so you're probably the better one to be pretending to be the salesman.
Yeah.
Well, so that it says sneak. That gives me the sneak skill, and when I wear the citizen's mask,
that just means that like when you take that advance, you get the sneak skill. That's the main way you get new skills.
The mastery is based on the situation it describes, not the skill it gives you.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yes.
So then, it might be me. I don't have low society, so maybe my coat is a little bit incongruous for the situation. But hey, the kebab union is very strict on standards.
You can like assist if I'm trying to remember.
Well, ever since they found that one lot selling transporting bodies in the kebab carts, they've been more strict about who they let in.
Yeah, I mean, I do. I guess I'm just saying I don't have low society. I have high society.
Yeah, but
not
you do
low.
have like deceive and that mastery, which would
Yeah.
give you more dice than me.
Yeah, cool. Okay,
Oh, good, you
we'll
have
go
the 3
with that,
dice.
So. Okay, so
Yeah, basically, we're going to see if you get away with stealing this kebab
yeah.
card.
A 10, a 4, and a 1. So
First, you roll up 10. All right, cool.
10, yeah.
Because it's critical. So,
Sorry.
I think as you kind of move up the staircase with this kebab cart, you looking down, you will see that you'll see 2 things, and they won't notice it yet. But what you see is kind of going to give you a pre-knowledge of what might happen up New Havens. I think you'll see a bunch of guards, the 2 guards come out of the morticians, the morgue that you just left, and they're flanking this armored kind of individual who's kind of carrying a spear, and they've got this rather intimidating iron wrought mask, and they're just kind of looking around, trying to spot suspicious folk, let's say, and they look around and they see a rather forlorn looking drow who probably would have sold sold kebabs, but they're staggering out of a tavern, which is kind of where the kebab cart was in front of. They don't look like they have their wits with them. They look like they've been day drinking. So the guards and their officer kind of come up to talk to the drow, but you can just hear as well. They're like, "Hey man, how fear these days? They're on sick. I make a living. I'm a kebab salesman." But I think you 2 are gonna be fine. It's gonna come up, and I think here's the second thing you'll spot. You'll spot the choke, which is the other market staircase, and you'll see that you'll see where Alira is, and you see Jazra has kind of plonked them on a table on the small kind of cafe. It's kind of hanging on the edge of the Necropolis, which is kind of just nice and fancy. And you can see that Jazra is kind of has this intense stare, just kind of pinning Alira down where they are. And if it's okay, we might jump to them, and then next I'll come back to food and see what they do. We'll see where you get up to it. You're kind of bringing this kebab cart up, but yeah, Alira, you've just been sat down in this cafe. Jazra has not even ordered anything. She just kind of sat you down, and kind of when the cafe owners kind of tried to talk to you, Jazra just gave them just this look, and then she looks towards you, Alira, and she says, It's been a strange couple of days. I'm glad to be distracted, to have a distraction from them, thanks to you.
And the Alira, all flirty, puts her hand on Jezra's forearm, and she says, obviously in the gruff tone of the character she's impersonating, you can talk to me about everything.
Can you? We've not even. This is silly of me. We're talking. We don't even know each other.
Sometimes you have the feeling that you just, it's like chemistry. You connect with people that you just fit. And she looks deep into her eyes.
Well, I work for a living. You just get what you get from that. My name is Jazra. Yeah, what's yours?
Jesus, you put me on a spot. She mentions a typical male name that is not too typical to be, suspicious.
Mm-hmm. That's good to know. I think she kind of like rubs her head a bit, as if like she looks annoyed. What were we gonna do?
So Alira is obviously looking over Jezra's shoulder to see the kebab cart being carted off. Like, can I see my comrades?
You see a big old hyena.
Yeah,
you look out for that. Yeah.
So I want to get rid of Jezra, and so how many people are there in that establishment?
There's like 2 others, I'd say. Like I said, the Necropolis, even though you're in the market part of the Necropolis, it doesn't get much traction. Nobody wants to hang out where they prepare the dead. But yeah, I think like there's only like maybe 1 or 2 others, the proprietor and some other customer.
So I want to intonate, like she says, what we need and what maybe would put your mind at ease is a little bit of music, and she picks a song that is like an evergreen classic of the city, where everybody who hears it will be motivated to sing along. And she jumps on a chair and starts singing that song. And what I'm angling for is obviously life and soul of the party.
Wow.
With 3 people in the cafe, well.
Yeah, well, the thing is, it's going to gather more people from the rest of the market, I think. I think Grimald and Food, as you're climbing, as you're kind of probably heaving this kebab cart up, you'll hear Alira singing from down below, and just looks like they're having a fine time down there. As like Jazra looks besotted as people kind of come in, they're like, yeah, let's party, and just like out of nowhere, this cafe is now like, yeah, it's a party palace. I think like to her, you still look like, you're gruff, like glamour, but to everyone else, it's like, oh my gosh, it's Alira. Is that what you were looking for?
Yes. And so obviously after Alira finishes the song and the cafe has gathered some more guests, she will then pass on. It's like a karaoke night where she says, and who knows the next song, trying to put that person on a chair and then leave when everybody's singing.
I think.
So it says the party gives you a mastery to persuade, deceive, or distract actions performed within it. So
yes.
Somebody else, starting the next song is supposed to distract Jezra from noticing that Alira is leaving.
Yes, absolutely. Because like, okay, let's build that role to like try to get rid of her. So we start with 1d10, and then this is like deceive. Yeah,
that sounds like it.
Yeah,
and I don't see anything else like high society. This is not a high society place. I don't have a religion.
Yeah. Oh, mastery means you get an extra die. That's what that means. So you get a 3rd die. Yeah. All right. All right. Let's see what success you are gonna get this time. No, I'm kidding.
For your sake, I do hope I fail.
What?
No, I'm joking. It's a 10.
Of course it is. Wait, is it?
It is.
Where's the 10?
Once. Oh, what? It was a 10. It is a 6. Ooh, I got cheated by the program.
Oh, roll 4. How dare you? You still roll. Is that an 8 next to it?
I think it's a 6. It's a 6. The highest is a 6.
Okay, all right, cool. So it's still stress getting hit for you. I think okay. I think there was like a moment, I think right before the party there was like a moment. Oh yeah, no. Jazra reached for your hand. Okay, cool. You, you hear like the tiniest kind of cacophony in the back of your head. The tiniest. Roll me a D6.
Do I make the link to what Food has said?
You can. I think definitely. Like I think it's the kind of like it's a jarble of noises of voices, kind of like talking.
I got a 5.
Okay, that's wow.
You're higher every time.
Yeah, that's a lot. This is to your mind.
I haven't added that before. Do you keep track, or do I have,
I keep track. Don't worry, I keep track.
Thanks. Cheers.
So you have a resistance of +2 mind, so I'm only counting 3 of that 5 stress. Roll that. Okay, let me double check. Stress. Lower, okay, because I rolled a 5. Oh wait, no, yeah, I only count 3, so you're doing fine. But yeah, you hear just like the tiniest kind of like gnawing cacophonous voices, and you know it could just be part of the party. There's a lot, but I think as you leave the party and Jazz was like distracted, she's like, oh, I think you get the sense that like the reason why she's talking like slowly and kind of blinking and startled easily is like there's also kind of a cacophony going in her head as well. But she's distracted by the party as you leave. I think we'll give you a moment for you to catch up. We'll probably cut to the other two as the two of you labor in the most unglamorous of ways towards New Heaven. And I think
Food once or twice forgets that they don't actually have any kebabs to sell and like has to be silenced by Grimald. Like, no. Because I just start shouting kebabs for sale or something like that.
Oh my god.
I mean, I do not have deceive, unlike Grimald.
That's true. That's true.
So I think we get a couple of drunks who come over and it's like, sorry, we just sold the last one. Yeah, we got to get rid of them.
I could carve off a bit. And you're like, no.
Yeah. Hold on, I'm trying to look for a specific thing in the book. Yes, here we go. Yeah. So I guess I'll ask the two of you. Have you ever been to the top of Spire? Because that's where New Heaven is.
I think I definitely have, because that's kind of where the Charnel cult makes its headquarters, right?
Yes. So you definitely have, yeah. But what about Grimald?
I think probably, given that, you know, as a mast, I spent quite a considerable period serving, you know, an Elfir master high up somewhere. So maybe I've been dragged along to a party or 5 and had to kill some upstart in a duel by proxy, you know, the usual Saturday night shenanigans. Yeah.
Yeah, so I guess, yeah, it's not much a shock when you come up to New Heaven because, you know, it's at the top of Spire. It's out. It's probably the most open place in Spire. It's not constrained in this big tower. You're looking at like these like you're looking at these like wide open kind of like streets and all these like temples clustered against each other. They're like about 10,000 prayer flags fluttering in the breeze as you kind of like climb up from the Necropolis. And the sun is like shining. It's a beautiful day. It was probably a nice day for a funeral procession, you know, if that was going to happen, you know, who knows.
Well, I think for like a dark elf, like the sun shining, probably not as beautiful day for us.
Oh yeah, no, the drow, not sunlight isn't great for the drow. I'm just gonna assume you have like coverings because
I assume. I just think that like it's like, oh, this is an awful day. The sun is out. There's no clouds.
Yeah, that is
I
true.
don't know how people live like that.
I know, it's horrible. However, I will say that, like, I mean, you can't see how the body's doing. It's smelling quite a bit, I will say. I know, not just smells, it reeks. Mixed with the kebab smell, it's a horrible kind of like cocktail of smells. And when you emerge towards New Heaven, well, smells attract things. And yeah, I think you're just confronted by. Let me just double check where this is. Yes. So I'm just trying to find where it is in the. Here it is. I think you see them coming from like different like sort of streets. 3 different hyenas, kind of like bounding down the streets of New Heaven. They look hungry. They look like they're growling, they're slavering. They don't have the regality of Lord Rot. Even though they have like.
Oh well, then I was going to bow, but I don't see a need to then.
Yeah, no, God, no, they're undignified. Also, I think you'll spot that like you'll see like shadows kind of flutter over you, and you'll see like there's like 2 to 3 vultures that are starting to circle around your spot, and I think that's when you intensely feel this kebab cart reeks. Like it's attracting all this animal kind of attention. So I think 3 big hyenas, 2 vultures. I'll turn to food first, and then to Grimald. Food, hyenas. How do you usually deal with them?
Well, a hyena properly incentivized is unlikely to simply walk out on a meal, but I kind of look over at Grimald. Grimald, how do you feel about being used as bait?
Poorly.
Wonderful. And I'm going to try to sneak into a position where I can pounce upon these hyenas once they come in to devour my friend.
Wow. Okay. Cool. You okay with that, Grimald?
Well, I mean, I think I just need to draw one of these pistols or the pistol, and that might disincentivize a hyena or 2.
Okay. Let's do food first, and then we come to Grimald.
Yeah.
So food, you want to like hide away to a vantage point?
Yeah.
Okay. So the fun thing with these hyenas, according to their stats, is they have a difficulty of 1 if you're trying to evade them, which is what you're doing. Don't worry, they don't have much resistance. It'll be fine. But let's see, 1d10 for luck. This is like a sneak or pursue. So either way, you have that skill. And religion, you are in New Heaven. And these hyenas are part of your. You see, they have their handlers nowhere to be seen, but they do have the collar marking them as like Charnel sworn. They're just kind of.
Oh, so is my mastery also trigger then?
Yeah, that's why I'm
Okay.
saying this. But I'm taking away a D10 because you're difficulty
Yep.
1 because you're trying to evade them.
So cool. That's an 8.
Okay, cool. All right. Tell me what's the vantage point you find in New Heaven?
Oh, I should think that one of the various carvings of gods has become a bit broken down and is offering me a good place to hide as they come in to feast upon my friend.
Okay, all right. So, okay, it's good to know you care about your friend.
I do. I'm planning on helping him. I just simply, for some of my abilities, I require a good hiding place.
Okay, so you found your hiding place. Before we turn to what Grimal's up to, are you triggering any of your moves? Or do you want to see what Grimal does first?
I'm giving, it's at the start of my turn, so I'll let you know then.
Okay, cool. So, food is hidden away. I assume Lord Rot is probably there, but he's not going to act for anyone. He's too kingly for that. He's too noble for that. Grimaud, 3 hyenas.
So, I think there's a slight shake of the head as I see food scurry away into the shadows, and I say, I said poorly, and I kind of turn sideways onto the meanest looking hyena and wait for it to advance upon me. Now I noticed this gift, one eye open, means that any weapon I carry has a surprising tag. So I guess I'm going to be, quick drawing a dueling pistol at this hyena when it pounces.
Hell yeah!
Surprise the fuck out of that guy. Yeah. I guess is the plan.
Yeah. It says here, the surprising tag. What it means is like whenever. Reading the book. The first time you use this weapon in a situation, you roll with mastery, so you can roll with an extra die.
Okay, cool.
Because your knack doesn't work here because it's not 1-on-1. There's like 2 others.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, but
and I mean, I'm not sure about dueling versus a hyena with a dueling pistol. I don't think it really. It's not a look I'm going for,
No. Cool. So there's a difficulty of 0 when you fight them. Difficulty of 1 evading them. So let's see. You got 1 for luck, 1 for fight, and I don't think any of your domains fit into this. This is a religious place. I should have mentioned this is a very religious heavy one shot, but you got an extra third die for mastery for using your surprising weapon.
Piercing probably doesn't do anything unless they're armored, does it?
Yeah, they're hyenas. They're not armored that well.
Yeah. Damn it! I want to see armored hyenas. It's very orky. Okay, cool. So 3 dice, right?
Yes.
That is a 6. Nope, that's a 7.
Well, 6 to 7 is the same thing. Yeah. Success with a cost. All right, so there's success. So I think roll me your pistol's damage die.
Okay, it is D6.
Okay.
That is a 2.
Okay. Let me see the stats for these hyenas. Okay, they're not that strong, but they do each have a resistance of 3. So I think you shoot this one, and I think like even though it's success, tell me where do you hit this hyena? Not the head, obviously, because it's not going to die.
No, I think in a fight like this, I'm not really aiming for anything except center mass, so like the front of its body, maybe like a hip or something like that.
Yeah. I think like it gets hit to the hip, and it's like it kind of like it lets off this like whine as it kind of like retreats back, limping for sure. But yeah, you didn't leave it. I think the complication is going to be you've left it open to one of the other hyenas. And I think they're just going to leap up to you and kind of like swipe at you. Roll me, let's see, D3.
D3.
If you look, there's like 2 dice. If you have those Roman numerals, they're
okay.
D3.
All right. Let me reroll that one. So looks like a 1.
Hey, yeah, you're doing well. That's 1 stress to your blood, which because you have a resistance of 1, which basically means it's nothing. I can't roll underneath a 0. So you're doing well. I think the hyena's gonna like shit. this guy, and they're kind of like surrounding you. I think for the moment. I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna let food do a thing, and then Illyria can like catch up at this point.
Yeah, the one that is trying to chew on Grimal. Clearly, I'm not going to allow anyone lower than Lord Rot to chew on my friends. Lord Rot, we'll have to negotiate to what degree he's allowed to chew on you. But anyone else, so I'm gonna come in with a surprise attack, and I'm activating my my hyena's ability Sikkim, which is when I attack by surprise with a melee weapon, it gains the brutal tag. That's why I wanted to hide.
Okay, all right, cool. All right, the brutal tag means when you roll for stress with this weapon, roll 2 dice and pick the highest. Multiple instances of the brutal tag will stack, which is horrifying when you think about it. But yeah, I think Lord Rot will like kind of like grab the will kind of like hold in place the hyena to try to paw at Grimald, and let's make this roll. Excited! I think you have 4. You have 3, 4. Yeah, because of death cults.
4. Okay, yeah.
You know how to deal with hyenas, basically.
Yeah. Let me delete those.
We'll check it.
And let's just roll 4 new ones.
Okay, cool.
Submit. Okay, that's 2 10s.
Oh, for God's sake. Amazing. All right, cool. So the thing with a crit is that you inflict +1 stress for each 10 you roll. So whatever.
I still want to know how much I fuck up this thing, because I know that guarantees that I'm going to kill this.
Yeah, exactly. It's a guaranteed kill.
Yes, I still want to know how much I fuck it up, though.
Okay, all right. Roll 2 of your damage die for your prey.
Okay, that's a 6, but let me see here. If I max out if I roll my max number for stress, then I also roll again.
Oh my God! What? Really?
If I roll the max number with my rip and tear, then like I roll the damage again and add that in.
Oh wow, okay, all right.
That is, I am a murder god.
Okay.
Okay, I only rolled 2 1s on my other roll, so
poor you.
So I only deal a mere 9 stress.
Yeah, poor you, 9 stress on a hyena that can take 3.
I just come in, I just keep swiping down, like it's clearly dead, but I am just cutting it up into smaller and smaller bits in a blood craze.
Yeah, so I think Illyria...
Get your kebabs now, huh?
Yeah.
Illyria, when you come up the staircase, you're gonna be hit by 2 things. This sight of Grimald looking, calm and cool, and
is Grimald calm and cool at this point? Because there's now a guy that is wildly hacking into this creature that is biting into.
Illyria is turning around on her heel. She says like, "Give them a minute" or something.
Yeah. Another
is
thing
Grimald like shouting, "It's dead, you idiot! Stop hacking"?
No, I think he is used to being on one side or the other of a massacre or a beating anyway. So I think he has got his hands up in Death Star firing officers mode. Like this will protect him from the blood and the carnage that's being being waved around.
The other thing that hits you, Illyria, it's like that stench. This.
I mean, there's a reason my coat is red. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, makes sense. Yeah, the stench hits you, Illyria, and like I think that tiny like scratching of voices, and I think Food, you hear this as well. You can kind of feel them emanating from the corpse, as if like they're kind of like reaching out, and the volume is getting just a bit louder, just that bit louder, and
the stench does not come from the killed body. Like the stench comes from the body that we are carrying, from a vein.
Yes, the body you came here for. The stench is coming from the kebab cart. Yeah, and I think. All right, no, actually, I'll save these other Simpsons for later. So I think we're gonna take another break since we've been here for an hour. We got some more hyenas. We're nearly there. You're at New Heaven. You just need to get to the temple before all other sorts happens. There's voices. There's hyenas. Who knows what else will happen? Let's come back again. 45 past the hour.
Nice.
So BRB. Okay, so this is a sight for sure. So let's see. There's one dead hyena, Food and their hyena, making sure that it's dead. Grimalt, you got their dueling pistol out. You've shot one other hyena. There's a third one who is just kind of like chilling there, just waiting to see what happens. Illyria, you've kind of turned your back on all this nonsense.
Yeah, and also covering my nose with like a perfumed scarf or something. Saying to Grimald, we need to be quick.
I think when you turn around, just to really emphasize it, you can look down into the necropolis. You can see it's still from a distance. There's a bunch of guards climbing up these. There's like these two guards and their officer climbing up the staircase.
Would I assume, I had the feeling of being watched when I left for the cafe, that it was them, or was it something else?
It's something else at the moment. Yeah, basically, that condition is for me to like spring on you when you least expect it, or when you don't. But you still have that feeling. But you will recognize those two guards as the ones you saw at the morgue.
Yeah, so I turn back to Grimald. The guards coming.
Okay. Well,
I also make the circular motion with my index finger and then pointing to Food, like as if he had lost his marbles.
Well, there's a demand for hyena kebabs right now, so just fulfilling the market need. I think we can assume maybe, or maybe I'm taking it for granted that hyenas can be intimidated. So maybe I'm putting my back to the kebab cart and pushing uphill.
Ooh. Okay, so you're just gonna get past this gauntlet. Yeah.
Well, I'd prefer to have one running fight than to be caught between hyenas and guards. So
that's fair. Okay. Okay. Let's make this roll. Let's see. You get one for luck. This sounds like resist. Let me read the definition for resist. Just to be sure. Yeah. Yeah, it is kind of like that. You face no end of hardships fighting. Because you're kind of already in the fight. You kind of want to get through it. So we'll say that's resist. That's okay with you.
Yeah. I don't think I have anything else relevant.
Yeah. And this, again, there's a difficulty of one with these hyenas when you're trying to evade them.
Okay.
I should bring up assisting, because that can work. A character can assist you if they have the relevant skill or domain. You already have a skill, so if anyone else has the religion domain, they can assist.
Yeah, I mean, I can help.
Yeah. So what that does is no, you'll get one to your dice pool, but the person assistant will take stress the same way you would. So how is food assisting this?
So you're trying to intimidate them, or
No, I'm just trying to get us uphill. Moving the cart uphill instead of just having a standout fight here where the guards might catch up to us.
I mean, yeah, I think I'm then helping keep these hyenas at bay a bit, intimidating a bit, because I can stand up to some low hyenas, just not Lord Rot.
Fair enough. Cool. That gets you an extra die. Difficulty of 1 will take away 1 die, so you're rolling
2.
2. Yes, 2 is better than 1.
An 8.
Yay! Jeez, yeah, you're doing well. I think, yeah, you'll push the kebab cart, and it's disgusting. It smells. It's a mix of the kebab meat and the corpse just stinking up the place. But yeah, I think that one of the hyenas will they were gonna lunge for you, but they hesitate because food's being all intimidating and whatnot. So they lunge far too late as you kind of rush past, and I think you're gonna go up a street and then turn the corner, and you'll see that the temple you're meant to go to, which is let me see, is there any the temple at Carrion Row is kind of well, actually no, it says here it's on the far end. We'll just say you get away, so you're not there yet, but you know where to go anyway, and I think you might be leaving your comrades in the dust, but you're out of danger, you and the corpse. And you're well on your way to Carrion Row, where you're attracting a bit of attention with all the smell and whatnot. But it's the new heaven. Lots of corpses get brought here to be eaten. This is it's just how so happens you ran into hyenas where their handlers were not there. But yeah, Grimald gets away. Illyra, food. How y'all doing? I think the both of you can feel the cacophony in your minds lessen a bit. Just lessen. Kind of, the gain goes down, so to speak.
So, what do you think, food? Shall we, try to engage with the guards, or keep them off Grimald's track? Lure them maybe in a different direction?
Yes, I think luring might be the better option. I should think it won't be wise to simply to get in too large a fight with the city guard.
Lyra takes out a ridiculously tiny dagger and says, "Yeah, I don't think so either."
I'll turn to Lyra since you haven't rolled in a minute. What are you planning to do?
Yeah, so I think a good idea would be to have them spot us and then lure them into a different direction.
Okay. I think when they come up the stairs, they see you, impossibly beautiful, as one of your moves say. An incredible distraction. What do you do to get their attention?
Would I assume that they would recognize me, or can I deceive them into distracting them by my sheer beauty?
Yeah. You can do either. The thing with being an idol is that you're kind of well known in Spire, so they kind of recognize you, but you can still distract them with your sheer beauty.
No, I mean, if they have seen me before, then I can't just, dance for them or something to bedazzle them. If they have seen me before with the corpse, knowing that I have it, then it makes no sense to be just beautiful and flirtatious.
You do have a spell that is basically that.
I can also turn enemies against them. By the way.
Yeah. You do have that.
Or I can dance for them and plant some kind of suggestion in their mind.
Yeah. It's up to you. Like, you've got a lot of choices there.
Yeah, too many choices. I think I stick to the. I don't think it really makes sense to dance for them when they know that I am the one who just stole their body. So I do disharmony. So I would rewind a little bit, saying not. So I don't want them to spot us. I want to sow. What's it called? Disharmony between them. So, like plant a thought in the mind of the higher up guard that the guards laugh about them, and plant the idea in the mind of the lower guards that the higher guard is incompetent.
Yeah, and I guess if they are also like, so we're kind of hiding ourselves away as they approach. If we're also doing that, I feel like it might be a good idea for me to also whip out one of my spells in preparation for this. I am going to place, I'm going to mark D6 stress to mind to, cause Charnel's mark to appear on the head guard.
Oh,
and until the end of the situation, I and all allies gain the brutal tag when we roll to inflict stress against them.
Okay. All right. I think let's do that first, and then we'll roll disharmony. Okay. What does that look like when you cast this spell? Food.
I think like, I think that blood starts to kind of seep out a bit, like kind of spontaneously. Actually, I think I have to carve the mark into myself, and then like it appears spontaneously, like in blood seeping out on the other person. So like I think I like carve Charnel's mark into my own arm, and it appears on the head guard as well. And so I rolled, and I just marked 1 stress.
Oh, come on. Mind, you said?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll mark that. I dropped the die. That was a 5, so you're not going to get hit if I fall out.
Yeah, I have 2 free marks in mind anyway.
Yeah. Okay, so I think like the head guard, they've got this like big helm, but I think you can see like blood dripping from the indent.
Yeah, like their sleeves wet.
Yeah, they're like, ugh. And they kind of look towards Illyra, who's like on the staircase. So yeah, let's cast some disharmony here.
I think there's a nice juxtaposition where food is all disgusting and bloody, and Illyra makes just some incredibly elegant gestures, maybe whispers into the air, and then the wind carries the whisper to the guards.
Oh yeah.
So what do I roll? Disharmony. And actually, it does look like they not only feel disharmony, they think that they are enemies of each other.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Believing that, you know.
That is what that does. It will inflict stress. Do you have a specific target? You said you're targeting the head guard.
So what did your spell do, Stephen?
It causes my allies to gain the brutal tag when they inflict stress, which means you roll 2 dice and keep the highest.
So what do you think? Should I put the stress on the head guard then, or on the other ones?
On the head guard, preferably, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. And I roll with deceive and occult.
Yes. Yeah, you got those 2, and you got 1 die for your for luck. So that's 3d10.
Nice. Grab here. I actually can re-roll once. I just realized that.
Yes, if one or more of your dice shows one.
So I rolled a 6 again.
Wow. All right. Well, that's a lot of stress. Okay, I think
Leroy will start smoking, I think.
yeah, well, it's still a success. So what's going to happen is there's going to be a lot. There's way more dice rolling than I'm used to. Your whisper carries out, and yeah, I think it hits like one of the one of the other guards, and they see like the blood on the head guard, and they just kind of like freak out, and they pull out their sword, and I'm gonna roll 2d6 here. Okay, that's a 3. 7. I think this guard will kind of like just start kind of like trying to like hack at the head guard, and the head guard's like, well, what the fuck? And so there's like a scuffle on the staircase as they kind of like try to like attack the head guard. But yeah, stress. Oh man. Roll me another d6, because you're tapping into something magical. I think this is going to be on your mind again. Your mind
That's another 5.
Jesus. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, if I roll a 9 or a 10, you're still in the clear. It's just you have so much stress now.
Can you stress out?
Can I what? Sorry.
Can you stress out?
No, you can go. It just becomes a guaranteed like hit on Fallout.
Mm.
Okay, yeah, that's a 5. All right, gonna hit with some mind fallout. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Actually, just remove that. Okay, so lovely. Double check something. Okay. The thing with Fallout is like, there's a list in the book, but you can just create your own as like a condition as per the situation. There's a moment where you like blink, Elira, and suddenly kind of like the world is like different. You blink, and for a second you see this like warp kind of decaying version of Spire. The guards down there, they're kind of like almost oozing out of their armor. They're so degraded and grotty. The streets around you are kind of like, littered with the streets are almost kind of look like they're made of bone or something like that. And the sky is like it's splitting open, and you see this like eye peering through the crack, looking. Oh boy. Gee.
He's gone to the other side, I think.
Yeah. Oh wow. I didn't expect.
That's harsh feedback, huh?
Yeah, that's a lot of Fallout. God, that's really weird. Yeah. All right, we'll give Horst a moment. I think while this is happening, we might cut to Grimal, if that's okay. As Elira is enduring this like vision. Grimal,
Sure, yeah.
Grimal, we can say you made it past the hyenas. I think they were like the reason they're not messing with food and And Illyra's like they were chasing you, but you're now on the nicer end of New Heaven, where there are like a bunch of there are a bunch of people wandering about. There's like Charnelite priests with their own hyenas. Presumably the hyena is chasing you has been corralled, and yeah, you are gonna make your way to Carrion Row.
So, do you think there's an opportunity to take 5 minutes to don a mask of the killer?
Yeah.
If I'm out of trouble for a short period?
Yeah. I think absolutely. What does that look like?
The mask or when I don it?
Both.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I put an image into the character keeper at the very bottom of the second mask there, which is the one of the killer, which was the one I wore for my master when I was doing his bloody handiwork. So it's silvered, and there's like a filigree design down the sides, and then there's like a two kind of thin knife edge islets, and then like a kind of bloody embossed sigil down the front of it, like above and below the nose. So this is the mark of my master's house. And yeah, it's pretty menacing, I think, right?
Yeah, I think yeah, you put it on and like you can feel like you can feel how you're like how it just kind of like suddenly you're like you're feeling like you can take on the world. And I think you find where you're meant to go with the makeshift temple, and there is like standing outside is this rather like short like carrion priest. He's got his arms crossed and he has this look. He's looking at like well no, he can't be looking at the watch. I don't know if watches exist in this world. But he's looking up at the sky, it's like knowing like what time it is, and then he sees he's standing where you are. So this is the person you're meant to meet. His name is, and you should know this, his name is Athos. He is a family friend of Vane, of Lord Vane, and he's here to do the purification. So so he doesn't know that you're coming here with a fucking kebab cart. So he doesn't like call you over. He's just kind of just looking around like, what the fuck is where are they?
So I think, my kind of, I think, Grimald's manner is changed now that he's wearing this mask. He is not a kind of personable everyman now. He is just a stone cold killer. And so his kind of eyes pass over the kind of open street or the square, like a hawk. And then he starts pushing it slowly over towards Athos.
I think his face changes as he smells the stench. It's just, I'm not looking to buy anything tonight, vendor. And I would like to advise that if you're looking to sell, you might want to have a look at your wares at the moment.
And I advance to the front of the cart and say, indeed, and just, whip the corner of the tarpaulin off to show the face or the mask of Vane.
Yeah. The body has gone further since the last time you saw it. Let's just say it doesn't look great. Let me see. What are the suggested symptoms? He's still dressed in his like finery. He's still got his ridiculous poncho on for sure. But where is it in this sheet? There's specific wording that I really liked. There is the stench. There are like bruises in the parts of the skin that you can see that look like they look like spilled ink and I think like once he like sees that, his face like kind of like falls, and he just says, have you touched the body?
We moved it from the slab to the gurney, but not since.
Good. Bring it in. We might be able to purify it. I think like I think he'll direct you to the back where there's like a larger opening to like the temple, so you can push the kebab cart in. And as you're pushing it in, he's setting up this like purification ring, for sure. And I think like he kind of like pulls. He puts a stretcher in to pull out the body to put into the ring, and he just says, "Is it just you? I would have thought that you would have needed others to sneak the body out. Where are your comrades?"
My comrades are a little bit behind me. There was a pursuit.
Okay, well, if they've handled the body, then they'll need to come to me soon. This fungi, it's quite virulent at the moment. I know the ritual to purify it, but it's going to attract attention. I think that he looks at you, at your countenance and the mask you're wearing, which is just grim as fuck. And he says, you might need to hold off such attention while I attend to my friend.
Of course. Lock the doors behind me. And Grimald kind of walks out to the front steps.
Yeah. I think as you kind of walk outside, and still no sign of Horst. I think their internet is legit gone. I'll send them a message. Give me a second. I think, there they are. Hey.
Sorry about that.
Everything okay?
Yeah, I just lost the internet completely for a second.
Okay. No worries. What was the last thing you heard when you get cut off?
The last thing I heard is, well, I was casting the spell and I was inflicted by stress. Probably that stressed me out.
Yeah. So what happened was that like you were getting like this vision, or at least your vision was kind of like changing as you were watching the guards kind of like start to like fight each other. Suddenly you're seeing like this warp decayed version of Spire, where like the staircases are just that bit more rusted. The guards look like they're wearing like battered kind of like armor. They're almost kind of like they're almost kind of like moldy and like flowing out of their armor. You look up around and you see like the streets are now kind of like made of like this flickering kind of incorporeal kind of bone material. So the streets look like now, and the sky you see is like splitting open, and you can see like there's this massive eye kind of peering through the crack. And then the vision fades and you're back to like normal. So you've got the fallout, just like visions basically. I think you hear the cacophony of voices louder than what Food is hearing. for sure. And they're like calling to like where the corpse is. Fun times. Does food would food notice if like something's come over Illyra?
Oh, like,
It's up to Illyra.
yeah, okay.
Yeah, I would think so, that Illyra is like staring into the middle distance, or looking at the sky that for her is splitting open, and maybe she makes like a step backwards when she sees the eye peering down. And after the vision, she will shake her head and say, "Oh, that was horrible."
Yes. What is horrible?
I just had a vision of the city decaying and some kind of evil eye staring down at me. You ever had that?
Not today, no.
And when you hacked away at the hyena, what were you seeing?
Oh, I was seeing the hyena.
Oh, okay. I thought you were out of your mind. But anyways.
Oh, no. Just having a bout of just having a nice pleasant bout of bloodlust.
She rolls her eyes behind the mask and says, "All right then.
That's fair.
Let's what's it called? Catch up with Grimald."
Did you ever roll the stress?
Yeah, that's where the visions came from.
Okay.
Yeah. From that fallout. Okay. While you were gone, Horace, we established that Grimald had made it to the temple, and
Nice.
they met up with the Carian priest contact, Athos, who recognized that there's an infection. The body has decayed quite a bit. There's now like bruises and bloating. It's not great. It smells horrible. And Athos has asked Grimald to like stand guard as he prepares like the ritual to purify. There's a fungus apparently inside Vane. Probably gonna so I think we'll cut to like Grimald first. So I think you're the one who's like uninfected out of the group, so you don't know what all these visions or these voices are on about. You do see like what is a group of vultures called? Because I hope it's something neat. Oh, a committee. Oh, that's ridiculous. You see this committee.
It's like in the Jungle Book, right? They're talkers.
Yes. Yeah. I think you see like there's a vulture that kind of like flies hanging on like one of the like prayer flags. They're perched precariously, and their beady eyes just kind of like looking at you. And then another vulture comes to join it. And then another. And then another, and then another, and another, and you're now like faced with like this big kind of like conglomerate, this committee of vultures. Let me find some stats for this thing. Cool.
Can I assume I've had time to reload my pistol?
Yes.
I don't know whether these are like ramrod powder kind of pistols, or whether they're more like single shot cartridges. But
because they're one shot, says there. So like the definition for one shot for that tag is you can only use this weapon once per situation. It takes a while to reload.
Okay,
so that makes sense. But you've had time to reload at this point.
So I'm just waiting. I'm not gonna start anything.
Yeah.
That'd be so unlike me. Uh,
That is true.
but you know, um,
I think
first one who looks at me crossly with intent, you know, might regret it.
yeah, maybe. I think you hear the ritual starting from inside, and um, you hear a shuddering. And it's almost like a small shockwave come from inside, and you feel it. And I think Food and Illyra feel it as well. Like and the voice is kind of like, they don't get louder, they get more, as in like more voices start kind of like speaking all over each other. And this vulture conglomerate, this vulture committee, who I'm considering as its own one entity, will kind of like fly up and kind of like fly around you, like circling around you, Grimald. And then almost like it's being shot at you, one of the vultures will like break from the pack and kind of like dive bomb towards you. What do you do?
Okay, well, I guess I have to take that as an invitation to shoot him out of the sky, right? Don't I?
Maybe, I don't know. It's up to you. You want to talk to them? You want to hang out with them? I would say, because I'm considering this thing as one entity, the Vulture Committee. I have here my stats.
Okay.
This will count as fighting 1-to-1.
Yeah. Okay. So, yeah, you know, I see him tuck in his wings to dive bomb me, and you know, slowly raise the pistol so that he's nice and lined up in the sights, and then pull the trigger.
Yeah. Okay. So let's do this roll. 1d10 for luck, 1 for fight. Yeah, I don't give any domain for this, but you do have fight, that mastery, 1-on-1. I will say though, this thing has a difficulty of 2 until you inflict stress at them.
Okay.
So
and does the surprising tag count?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Okay, yeah, that'll cover for that, I suppose. I know there's a rule where like I think you only need to roll. You're only allowed to apply 1 mastery to a roll, but I'm gonna say yeah. So, but I kind of want to be nice. Grant and Chris, don't come at me.
You could treat it as doing brutal damage instead.
Yeah. Actually, let me see the stats of that gun. Piercing range damage. I think what I'll say is like, because one of the masteries has been canceled out by the difficulty, you can apply another one.
Okay. So that's what I'm rolling 2, is it?
2.
2, yeah, okay. Oh, a 9 and a 6.
Hey, hell yeah. So on a 9, yeah, you do it. So roll me your d6, your damage, your stress die.
Yeah, so it's d6, right?
Yes.
4.
4. Okay, cool. So their difficulty goes down by 1 because that's part of their stats. All right. Do they have? No, they don't. So I think your shot will pick up. Well, not only pick off the vulture that's been thrown at you, it's gonna go past and kind of like smash against like a bunch more vultures. They try to break apart to like dodge the shot, but they kind of like reform. But I think like they're suddenly like really wary now. They're kind of like shivering around, like shit. What other surprises does he have? This motherfucker. They're agitated as kind of like another shudder comes through from like the room behind you, and I think you feel like the temperature around you kind of like lower, even though it's a nice sunny day. I'm gonna say Food and Illyra, unless you want to watch the guards beat each other up, and then you're probably catching up to Grimald. I think that's what you said you were gonna do. So I think you'll see. You see like Grimmauld is wearing the red velvet. They're wearing this like wicked looking mask. This brutal looking mask as they're shooting at this like conglomerate of vultures. But I think the two of you will like as you approach the temple, you can hear the voices kind of like get louder and more coming from inside. And there's like some yelling as Athos is like inside, kind of like yelling something, some sort of spell or whatnot. Yes, the three of you are together.
Cool. So have the vultures spotted me yet?
You can, I think you can say no. Not yet. They're kind of like flickering by.
Because I think that if there's some distance away, as of yet now, that I'm going to make use of my hyena's scout. When I attack at range from a position of hiding, my attacks gain the brutal tag. Does that make sense? Work?
Sorry, my mind blanked there for a moment. What were you trying to do? Sorry.
I'm trying to attack with my. I have a ranged weapon. It's a prey hook, which I imagine is like a like basically like a sharpened hook, like attached to like a rope. Because it has the stunning tag by default. So I think like I'm like tossing, I'm like as like with Lord Rot spotting for me, I like fling it into this mass and like try to hook onto something.
Yeah, let's do this. Okay, so 1d10, you fight, religion. This is not really a death cult. This is a fungus thing, a corruption thing. And it has a difficulty of 1. We used to be 2, but it got hit for stress, so it's now down to a difficulty of 1. So you have 2d10.
Okay. That's an 8.
Of course it is. Have any of you rolled lower than a 6? I'm curious.
I think Alara did once, didn't she?
No, I think it's just all 6.
I think I only rolled 6s.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
The lowest and the highest.
Okay, cool.
I
got an 8.
Yeah. So you roll 2d3?
Yeah, so I'll just use d6s and 1 to 2, 1, the usual.
Yeah.
So let's roll this. Okay, that is a 3, and because I rolled a 3, that means that I roll again.
Amazing.
And that is a 2, so that's a total of 5 stress. Yeah. And it is stunned now. Let me see what that means mechanically.
If you succeed in attack, you may declare that any affected targets take no stress, but their difficulty is reduced to 0.
I'm gonna deal 5 stress.
Yeah, that's kind of like enough. The way this kind of works, like each NPC has what's called resistance. If you inflict stress through either weapons or like social stuff, you wear down the resistance. Once it's down to 0, you take care of them. And this 5 stress takes it down. So I think, you drop your prey hook and I think you smash through enough vultures when kind of like you feel another shudder coming from the temple. And the temperature again lowers, and now instead of being attracted by the smell, suddenly the vultures are like repulsed, and the flock scatters away. And I think you hear Athos is going, "Help! Help!" from inside the temple as you take care of the vultures.
I guess we
I'm
better
just
help.
laughing madly, flinging my prey hook into more of them, even though they're fleeing. This is Food's thing.
Laughing maniacally as you deliver
As I kill
carnage.
stuff, yeah.
Yeah. That's fair.
Yeah. Illyra, can you hear us?
I can hear you.
Okay, cool.
I think Alira will probably enter the temple to look what's going on.
Yeah, so there's the kebab cart is in the corner, reeks. Athos has set up a makeshift kind of altar and has created a purification ring around the body of Lord Vane, who you notice has almost kind of putrefacted into something else. And I think the warping, the vision that you saw, it's starting to bleed into this room. So I think all three of you can see the material, the flooring, the altar is starting to turn from this ethereal, weird bone material. The body's shaking and shivering. Athos has been kind of thrown back. He's gasping for breath, lying near the kebab cart. He's just looking in horror as the purification ring is broken. And yeah, I think he just shouts so someone get to the corpse, someone stabilize. Keep it steady, hold it down, it's trying to get up.
Alira looks at Grimald. That looks like something that a strong man like you should do.
Oh sure.
Or
get your hands dirty now.
Like a dead cult member, maybe, but I'm not seeing myself. I can dance.
And you were getting your hands dirty in that pub earlier, yeah.
I did get my hands dirty.
Okay. All right. So according to this, to focus this ritual, it's going to take a resist plus religion roll, according to what I'm reading. Or you can take stress to mind. The way this works, you don't have religion, Grimald, but someone else can help if they have religion.
Well, Food is outside.
I mean, if you really need it, Food can have calmed down a bit.
I mean, it would be helpful, but
Okay. Because I think food then is there, and they're offering pointers, all this talk of the other Carnelites talking about the afterlife is crap, but that they can offer you pointers on how to handle that sort of thing.
Okay. So I think what does this look like? And you try to keep the body still.
Yeah, I mean, my hands function as D6 weapons, but I don't think that's helping me lay hands on this fungal infested corpse. So
it seems like you have a better idea of what your hands can do. So you're making sure you're not being infected. It's just fixture and flavoring, but it's nice.
Yeah, I might even be willing to ruin my coat to put a layer. I know great challenges require great sacrifices.
Oh, it's tragic.
Tragic.
Yeah. So this is going to be resist, and Food is helping religion. So that's 3d10. There's a difficulty of 1 to this. This is just focus.
Yeah. Remotely interesting on this one.
Okay. 2d10.
2d10.
Yeah.
And a 10.
Of course it is. Of course. Cool. So I think you keep down the corpse as it's moving as it's like trying to move. And I think, yeah, you focus like the ire of the fungus on it yourself for the moment as Athos and Food and maybe not Illyria, who's just watching all this, rearrange the purification circle. And I think it's just Athos shouting, "Keep it steady. We're drawing the thing out." And I think how it's being drawn out is like you're keeping this corpse steady, and like you hear this like horrible death rattle come from its mouth, and the mask kind of like breaks a bit as this like spore-like cloud kind of like escapes from its mouth. And well, actually no, it's like this ichor, this like spore-like kind of like ichor kind of like start to float out of its mouth, and it starts to form into like this like thin line that starts to crack against the air. And as it's splitting open, you can see like there's this enormous eye peering through the crack. And I think it's looking for another target. It's looking for another host. It's looking at you, Illyria.
I gulp.
And the eye starts trying to push through the crack towards you. I'm
gonna resist this.
Okay. All right. So, funny thing is that this, to like complete this is what's called, you can either mark D6 stress to mind, or this is going to be a resist occult check. You don't have resist, but another person can lend a hand.
I do have occult though.
I don't have resist, so I can't help.
I have resist.
Yeah.
So maybe I can, if my, I'm not sure fictionally if I'm able to give some advice or whatever.
Maybe you're like throwing yourself physically in the way, because it is like kind of about holding out as Illyria like does her ritual, because you're both going to suffer like the stress if she rolls poorly.
Yeah. So maybe if there's kind of a physical manifestation of these fungal spores reaching out to her, that I can, bat down or shoo through the air away from her.
Yeah, I think like it is mostly mental, but there's like physical, like these ichor spores kind of like trying to reach out from the body. But I think there's like a mental connection. There's like a mental weight being pressed into your mind, Illyria, as this like fungus is trying to bleed into your mind. But yeah, you've got, let's see, 1d10, another d10 from Grimald, and then a third from Occult. Difficulty of 1. How are you pushing back its influence? Actually, let me hear how you're doing this before you make the roll.
I mean, it's. I think that Grimald takes care of the physical side of things, and so Lyra's thing is, beauty and grace, and I think she tries to, conjure in her mind imagery of beauty and grace to counter this.
Yeah. All right, roll me 2d10.
I don't have roll for your party open, so I will just, you need to trust me. I will get my physical dice.
Imagine if you roll a 6.
3d10?
2d10.
2d10. Oh.
Yeah, so difficulty of 1.
So obviously now that nobody is looking, it's a 9 and not a 6.
Oh, we trust you. We trust you.
The dot at the bottom of the digit, Horst, are you sure you're...
Yeah, it could be a 6. No, it's a 9. There's a dot.
Hell yeah. Okay. What does it look like when you like push and you resist long enough for the fungus to be purified? What does it look like when you like make this eye falter.
Yeah, I think that from my perspective, the eye maybe widens and retracts, and the splitting of the sky is mended.
Yeah, I think, yeah, it's pushed back. The crack reforms into like a line, and then you can see that like it's kind of disintegrating into like dust as Athos, working with food maybe, is like, all right, we've got a hold on it, and the purifying ritual does its work, and this fungus kind of like is just eradicated. As it's like it's being eradicated, the room kind of like shifts back. Suddenly it's no longer the warping bone, it's no longer the weird decaying version of Spire. The place is a mess, and it stinks to high heavens because the kebab cart is still there. But I think the world goes back to normal, and you kind of like and I think the mood shifts, the temperature goes back to normal, the fungus goes, and Lord Vane's body just stops moving and cracking and just kind of like lies still, and Athos is just like well, that was an encounter and a half. Yeah. Will the three of you be staying around for the when we bring Lord Vane's body to its resting place? In food, you know, the resting place is in the belly of a bunch of holy hyenas.
Oh, no. I'm actually feeling rather peckish. And I kind of turn to... I'm still rather bloody as well, like just covered in blood at this point, really. I turn to Grimald. You know what I could really go for? And I think, like, the obvious thing I'm going to say is that's exactly where we go to black on that moment.
Yeah, so I think since we're just about to wrap this up, in a normal there's a suggestions for like rewards you can get if like you drop this one shot in a campaign. The reward would have been you've gotten Athos and Jazra as like bonds, as you know, NPC allies. So kind of like that's kind of like the framing of how this like mission succeeded. So with that in mind, let's get some like parting shots for these characters. As we kind of close this out. You've done it. You delivered the corpse. You've purified it of this horrible fungus. Gonna assume that fungus that was inside food and Illyria have been purified as well. If not, you gotta take care of that. But yeah, as you know, the day turns and we move on to another day in Spire. What's the last we see of these characters? Let's go left to right on the character keeper, if that's okay.
Yeah, we see Food walking down one of the streets of Spire with the kebab cart, proclaiming vulture kebabs. Get your vulture kebabs here. Freshly harvested. Never mind the smell. Vulture kebabs here.
Okay, all right, that's your prerogative. I'm sure there are people in Spire who will go for that.
I think the name of this kebab cart is like the sub committee, so you're selling subs.
All right, so that's actually food for now. What about Grimald?
Yeah, I think we see him in his normal everyday citizen mask again, wearing a plainer, you know, his second choice jacket, because that, you know, red one is probably been torched. You know, just.
Oh, you wore red for this mission. What a good idea.
I need to buy a new one, you know, for these extra bloody encounters. And you know, just listening to people's gossip on the street, talking to people he knows from his old durance and such. You know, just being a normal guy on the street again.
Nobody would know, like, if you just put on a mask, your hands become weapons.
Yeah.
Just another unassuming person. And Illyra, you've had a trip and a half.
Mm-hmm. I think it's later, it's probably evening. Illyra has showered and changed her dress and is her beautiful self again. And it's just some kind of bunky banquet, like some kind of social meeting where she's obviously the center of attention, and she laughs and throws air kisses and everything.
Just another day in Spire. Well, thank you very much, folks, for playing. I hope you all had a good time today. I'm glad we got to this after some scheduling snafus, but thanks very much, folks. These were some great characters dealing with ridiculous scenarios and being ridiculous. Thank you all very much. All right, I'm going to stop recording here. For everyone who's watching, check out Gauntlet. Check out Spire, check out Shadow Operations, check out Pauline Chan's work. They're all going to be linked down below. But yeah, for now, I'll say goodbye to YouTube. And yeah. Spire is fun times.